Hi, I hope you are doing good. As you know that we have covered all these topics under the section of task management web app, right? So today we will start task management web API, which is the next slide, right? So in today we will cover these two topics. We will create .NET Core web API project as well as we will implement CRUD operations APIs. And in next session, we will implement uh, other points. So let's start today's session. Let's go to the project. Let's create a API project. New project. .NET Core mm, Web API project. Let's give it a name. Task Management API. Task Management API Entra API. Keep everything as it is. Click on create and API project is created successfully, right? Let's make it startup project. Let's simply run it. Okay, so it is running on 7252 port. Let's simply try to hit and see. Okay, so the default controller which is created when we create a project, API project, that is weather forecast. Let's select this and simply click on. Okay, so you could see that it is returning data, right? So now we will add a DB context as we did in task management, right? Here we had added context, right? We will add this DB context, right? Let's add a context. Why we are doing this? As you remember that we have created DbContext in web project, right? And we were getting data from task management table, which we have defined in program.cs here. We are getting data from memory, not from database. This time we will get data from API and all this functionality we will implement in API, and we will remove this context and DB context from web, because we will only make request to API and all the data we will get from API. So let's create a context folder in web API context. Let's add a class. Let's say task management DB context, add it, right? So now we need to do the same thing as we did here. Let's migrate this into program.cs of API. Mm, okay, here task management context, DbContext, right? To add this, we need some packages. Let me show you the packages that we need to add. These are the packages that we need to add. This one is to get data from memory, and this one is for to use entity framework core. So let's simply comment this and go to the terminal of web API and simply .NET add package. Add these packages one by one. Okay, now let's add second package, the other one. Okay, first we have added in memory. Now let's add entity framework core. Okay, now let's try to add this. Let's simply remove this. Okay, go to there and simply, as we did in web, simply copy DbContext, right? And constructor and DbContext option we do have. Let's simply task management context. This is what it is expecting. So task management. Okay, let's create a model, task management model. Add new folder, models models. Add new class, task management models, right? And here we need all the properties that we had in our model that we have in our web project. Let's simply copy all the fields and migrate into API model, right? Simply include this model here and go to program.cs. Okay, we are good to go. And then rebuild the project and see if everything's working fine. Okay, it seems everything is working fine. Now let's create a controller. An API controller. It would be a API controller. Give it a name, to-do list controller. It is a API controller, so it would be inherited from base controller as controller base, sorry, right? And this is how we will mention that this is a API controller. Let's remove this here. Okay, now I will migrate all the methods uh, from my another repository. You will get all these methods in a code repository that I will share in the description of the video. You can find the code and I will explain in this video as well. Let me simply migrate all the code from other repository. Okay, here is the code which I have migrated from other repository. Let me explain the code first of all because it's a API controller. Let me add API at the start of a controller, right? So we had created a empty API controller, right? I just injected DbContext into a constructor. Then I have created a get method to get data, uh, to get task by ID. I have created this method to post or to create task. I have created this one. To edit, I have created this one. And to delete, I have created this method. You will have all this code in a repository that I would add in a description of the video. So let's quickly test this API and let me show you it's working fine. Here is a Postman collection. This is the port where this API is running. You can verify this here as well. Simply run. Sorry, project is not running. Let me run project. Now simply click on send. Uh, Here this is a post request to create. So you could see that the ID 1 is created, 2 is created, 3 is created, right? If you want to get all, okay. So let me simply replace the URL, replace the port, click on send. You could see that we created 3, 1, 2, 3 ID and we have all 3, right? Let me create another one. ID is 4. So this time we have 4 tasks, right? If I want to delete second task, I would just pass 2 and send, and let's see if task 2 is removed. Let me click on send. Okay, you could see that now we do have 1, 3 and 4. So second task has been removed successfully. So all endpoints are working fine, right? Now our next goal is to invoke these endpoints from our web app. So let's quickly do that as well. So here is our okay. So here is our task management controller of web, right? What I will do, I will also replace the code of this controller, right, from my other repository, right? It would be also available in a repository that I would add in the description of the video. I will share that with you, right? So you can review that as well. Let me simply uh, let me put all the code here. Okay, so here I have replaced the code, right? This is the API URL which we have just created, right? Uh, this is the constructor. Now we will use HTTP client to call the API, this API endpoints, right? This is the index. What we are doing, we are getting all the tasks from to-do list controller from get async from here, and here we are just posting model to the API, and we are using this method of API, right? In edit, we are passing uh, to the HTTP put, right? In case of remove, we are using HTTP delete, this delete async, right? And then redirect to action. So basically, we are using all the endpoints of controller, of API controller. This is the API controller, right? So let me simply run the web project and API project. So to run both project on the same time, we need to click on properties, select multiple startup projects and make API project as startup as well. So you could see that web and API project are startup projects. So let's click on apply. Yes. Okay. Now simply run. Let me sign in again and show you. Okay, so I am logging with user, this user. Oops. Let's click on tasks. Okay, let's click on create new and simply test, test and create, right? Let me add sample data calling API to show you that all data is coming from database. Sorry, APIs. Let me show you. Let me get. Okay, so these are the tasks that we have added. Let me refresh this. Okay, so you could see that we are getting all data from API, right? Let me remove ID8 from here. So you would see that ID8 would be removed here as well. Let me send. You could see that we have 7 and then 9. Similarly, if we would remove 9 here, 7 here, we would not 7 on front end, right? So we are getting data from API, and we have implemented APIs, integrated APIs into our web project. Now we have no need to use context in our web project because now we are using in-memory database in API project, right? So simply remove this and this code from program.cs, right? As well as remove context. Let's remove this class as well. Simply delete this folder, and we have here as well. Let's simply remove this from here and from here. You would see that, okay, let's simply rebuild solution. Okay, let's remove this one as well. Rebuild solution. We have removed context from web project because now we are getting data from API. So there is no need to use context or use in memory in web project, right? Let me simply add 1, 2, and 3, right? Okay, go to tasks. You could see that 1, 2, and 3 we do have, right? This data is coming from API. Let's add more data for demo, and here we will have all the data, right? Okay, so all of our today points we have covered. Let's see what we have implement today. We have implemented these 2 points. In next session, we will register API app in Entra portal, and we will see other points in next session. The code related to this session, I will create a new repository with the branch name, right? And I will create a new branch, sorry. I will create a new branch, and I will add that branch into description of the video. If you do have any question or any comment, any question or any query, you can ask in comments. I am here to respond. Thank you.